The next change we're gonna do it in the test cases. I mean the rough package where we were actually designing login tests. So we have kept everything over here, right? So instead of keeping these things over here, we will be implementing TestNG because right now have done all the execution from the main method, right? But even before dividing it into the test and the test cases, I would like to make some changes to our pages. So in our home page, where we are actually saying driver.find element this dot click, we will be storing the locators in our OR properties file. So let's see what all locators are there. Let us open the OR properties file, and I'll just remove all these locators. This is the way we'll be designing it in our page object model as well. So the very first home page locators, I'll say home page locator. We have what all locators are there. So let's say I need to perform login. So login is like sign in. There's a sign in button. So this should be when we are on the Zoho homepage. This is the like the login. Let's go to login. So click on sign in. So if you right click and inspect, so this is sign in. So it should be login link. So I'm gonna say login link underscore CSS equal to, and I'm gonna take this one here. So what happens is instead of writing this, I can simply say click and give the locator. That's it. So instead of writing the entire thing, I'm gonna do it like this. Same way if you're on a login page, so you can write the locators of login page over here. So after we go to login, so this is like the email, then we have password, and then we have sign in. So this is email. So the email underscore CSS and password underscore CSS and sign in button underscore CSS. And this is sign. Right. So what I can do, I'll just take this value from here and I need to type. So I'll say type and give this locator key and dot send keys. Right. So type, let's see. Okay. Uh, Not send keys because this is also wrapped. So I need to do it like this. Right. Then type and then password underscore CSS and then the password. Because type method, it accepts two arguments. One is your locator and the other one is value. Right. Same way, I'll say click and click on the sign in button. Right. So let's say the very first test is to perform login. So how are we going to do that? We're going to create a new test case. So test case will be inside your test Java package. So we're going to say login test and I'll say public void login test. This should be at the rate test where we'll be implementing it through TestNG. Right, and what we need to do is we need to create a base class for test case as well. Now, what that base class will gonna do once all our test cases are completed, anything common that you want to do in all the test cases, you can keep it in the base test class. Let's say I add a method public void tear down. So over here, the tear down method at the rate, let's say I'm gonna call it after suit. So this will be executed once the entire test cases are being executed. After that, I want to quit the thing. So I want to say driver.quit. So I cannot directly call driver over here. What I can do over here is in my base class, I can create another method that says public static void quit, something like this. Right, I'm gonna make it static. And over here I'll say driver dot quit. So what I can do, I can call this static method in my base test by saying page dot quit. So at the end, it should actually quit the entire session, right? And this base test will be extended in all our test cases. So I can write over here extends base test like this. Right. And in the login test, what all we're gonna do, we're gonna navigate to home page, click on login, and then perform the login. So up till here, I'm gonna take it and I'll put it inside my login test like this. So these values will be reading it through Excel sheet, but before that, I would like to run this test in order to make sure whatever things that we have set it up so far in our page class, everything works fine. Right. So what I'm gonna do, I'll go to my runner and in this as a page object model, and then let's see, we have all the listeners classes as well. So com w2a listeners should be there's no listener class over here, so I'm gonna copy this listener package as well. And okay, the package is already here, so I'll just copy the class. We'll be needing this class and paste it over here. So instead of doing it over here, I'm going to take it to the page. Right, so I'll just copy this and maybe we'll implement these listeners in the page package itself. I'll remove this from here. Right, let's see what all errors are there. Okay, test util, it should be utilities. So listeners will be helpful in capturing failures, screenshots, right? All those things, and sending out emails. That's fine. So we have com w2a listeners, custom listeners, and then the very first test should be the login test, which should be inside com w2a test cases, and then the login test, right? And rest all, I'm gonna remove it from here. So let's make sure the very first test it works fine. The test should be only reaching to zoho.com Clicking on login and enter the username and password. And let's see. Okay, let's see. Log4j not initialized. That's fine. We're gonna do it later on. But see, the Chrome browser is launched. Navigating to the website, it has navigated to the wrong website. So this could be probably since we have copy pasted a lot of stuff. So in config, we need to change it to zoho.com. Right. So let's run this again. Navigate it to Zoho and let's see if it clicks on login. It clicked, it entered, and the very first test case is successfully executed. And at the end, it is actually sending out an email as well. That's great. So all the things that we have configured, it's working absolutely fine. Right? The email is also sent out, although the email will not going to contain anything right now. It would just be a sample email. But that's fine. Everything that we have mentioned and the listeners are also working fine. Right. So it's like on finish, email is sent out with the current local host address and then the link to the extent report. Although we have not set it up any Jenkins job so far, but once we do it, then we're going to see this link in the email as well. Right. And let's see if any report is also being generated. If I refresh this, go to target, surefire report, HTML, and this is extend.html. So this is the report that is also generated. See, clicking login link, clicking on this link, enter the email as this, password as this, clicking on sign in, and the very first login test is successfully executed. Right. So if you're not able to understand how the report is being generated, again, I would recommend you to first watch that data driven first project. The very first project that is the data driven, because all these things are very clearly explained in the data driven framework. This is like a base of any framework that we're going to design. So the very first thing you need to do is to watch the data driven framework, the basics of data driven, and then you should start following the other projects over here, right?